And the news this morning, Governor Obiano urges Nigerians to uphold new national consciousness to promote peaceful and harmonious coexistence. Anambra State government sets up panel to probe collapsed building in Onitsha. 15,000 internal displaced persons in the north take refuge in Niger Republic. On the foreign scene this morning, large earthquake hit north-central Peru. I'm Ebere Ugonna. The news in detail. The Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, Dr. Rufus Aladisami, has conferred the title of Are Amuogun of Ado-Ekiti on Governor Willie Obiano and Erelu Amuogun of Ado-Ekiti on the wife, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano. Government House correspondent Ejike Abana was there, and that the governor and his wife were received by the wife of the governor of Ekiti, Mrs. B.C. Fayemi, on arrival before proceeding to Ewi's palace. His report.
Members of Anambra State Executive Council, some members of Anambra State House of Assembly, some top government functionaries, ABGA stalwarts, including the National Secretary, Mr. Labaran Maku, among others, attended the event. Obi Alfred Achebe of Onitsha led other notable traditional rulers in Anambra to the event. Governor Obiano in his speech said, "Only peace and belief in the unity of the country can enthrone enduring peace and development." He urged Nigerians to maintain harmonious coexistence, noting that cross-fertilization of culture, tradition, among others, would salvage the nation from its present state, asking Ndibo living in other parts of the nation to respect the laws and traditions of their host communities, and appreciated the people of Ado-Ekiti for the honor.
So ask for our people of Ghana, the universe anywhere in the world, our parents as a whole, to love one another, be your brothers and sisters keeper. That's the only way this country will move forward. I like the community that exists between the universe and Windows here. And I pray that God prospers that. All these answers Christ our Lord.
The wife of the governor of Anambra State, Dr. Ebelechukwu Obiano, appreciated the Ewi for the honor the Igbo people in Ekiti, especially in the Anambra living in Ekiti, and prayed God to bless and promote Nigeria. The governor of Ekiti, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, represented by his wife, Mrs. B.C. Fayemi, who applauded the honor, prayed that the budding relationship between the people of Ekiti and Anambra will continue to deepen, and expressed happiness over his victory at the Supreme Court, adding that he will use his position as the new chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum to put the interests of the people ahead of his personal interest. The Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, Dr. Rufus Aladisami, explained that in Ekiti, chieftaincy titles are not just bestowed for the highest bidder. He described Obiano as a man of the people whose hard work, creativity, selflessness in service, and accountability are among his virtues, adding that he is a true Nigerian and great crusader of a united country and pillar for the sustainability of the country's sovereignty. He lauded his leadership potentials with his wife by his side, whose humanitarian services has touched many lives. Some in Anambra who felicitated with the governor and wife, including the Commissioner for Lands, Chief Nnamdi Onukuba, Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejiofo, the Managing Director of Anambra Advertisement Agency, Chief Jude Emecheta, and the Executive Chairman of Anambra Physical Planning Board, Barrister Chike Maduekwe, stressed that the honor is well deserved. The Deputy Governor of Ekiti, Otumba B.C. Egbeyemi, also attended the ceremony. Oni of Ife offered special prayer for the governor and wife. From Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Anambra State government has set up a panel to probe the collapse of a 4-story building under construction at number 9 Ezenwa Street, Onitsha. According to a statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adenoba, the panel is to find out both the immediate and remote causes of the building failure, including the caliber of persons and quality of materials used, as well as granting an approval by the appropriate regulatory body. We have details.
The statement explained that this is part of the overall strategy to make Anambra remain the safest and most peaceful state in Nigeria. The statement disclosed that Governor Willie Obiano has stated that members will be drawn from, among other bodies, the Nigerian Institute of Building, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Anambra Raw Material Testing Laboratory, and the State Emergency Management Agency, as well as the Anambra Police Force. It added that the government of Anambra State regretted that the collapse of the building at 9 Ezenwa Street, Onitsha, led to the death of 2 persons, including the site engineer, and condoled with the families and friends of the victims. The statement assured that state governments will underwrite the medical bills of victims who are receiving treatment in the hospital, while the government appreciated the efforts of individuals and organizations that work tirelessly to save the lives of victims of the building and ensure that the incident did not result in chaos, as well as thanked individual volunteers, the Nigerian Police Force, the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Anambra State Road Traffic Agency, the State Emergency Management Agency, and the Red Cross, as well as the Anambra State Road Maintenance Agency for their heroic role, noting that these individuals and organizations demonstrate continually that the people of the state are caring, which is in keeping with the philosophy and tradition of Onye Agana Nwanne.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Basic Education, Professor Kate Emmanuel, says the state government will continue to partner groups that will encourage the development of the art of writing and other creative works in schools. Professor Emmanuel was sharing this policy trust at the 3rd edition of the Young Authors Conference held in Awka with the support of Oric Foundation and other media partners, including the Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. Correspondent David Okwasale has details.
Professor Melo explained that creating an enabling environment for young people in schools to express their inner potential through art and writing is a priority of the state government, and that such positive engagement will help reduce the level of social vices among young people today. The commissioner, who received an award for her numerous innovative policies to drive the education sector to higher heights in the state at the event, was represented by the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Mr. Nemeke Gwong, describing the conference as complementary to the state government's efforts at developing the creative sector. According to her, some of the programs already put in place to drive the culture of reading and whet the appetite of students in the state to writing include the ongoing plans to set up a literary and debating hub, exposing the children to role models in writing, such as the renowned author of The Bottled Leopard, Professor Chukwuemeka Ike, who is the traditional ruler of Ndike Leonwu, and the recently concluded Governors Debate Championship, among many others.
The participation of the Ministry of Basic Education in this project right from its inception has been very, very rewarding. And we consider the project very complementary to the efforts of Governor Willie Obiano's administration to bring out the best and elaborate literary prose from our school system.
Mr. Michael Ike, the president of Oric Foundation and host of the event, in his speech explained that the conference themed Africa and the World, Bridging the Gap Through Literature and Knowledge Sharing, was to serve as a platform for young and budding authors to share experiences, network, and explore new opportunities to get their works published, which will also enable them to learn from themselves and develop better in the art of writing.
Young Authors Conference is an event I organize every year with the purpose of bringing together young writers in Anambra State, Nigeria, wherever they can come from, to learn from each other, connect with each other, learn ways to improve.
A speaker at the event, a young American author, Kellen Dolman, who shared his experiences when he began writing, said his focus was to build a new consciousness for younger people to understand they could make greater changes in their societies and mindsets through writing, while Jerry Chiemeke, who spoke on the topic, African writers, pushing voices and getting your voices heard, also harped on the need for writers to identify the needs of their audience and satisfy those tests through their writing. The event, which placed emphasis on sharing the African story to the outer world, also featured spoken word renditions and drama by secondary school students, a movie premiere on the African experience, challenges and preferred solutions for a better future. In Awka, I am David Opokwase reporting for ABS News.
A one-day leadership training for prefects in both private and public schools in the state has ended with a charge on participants to be solution providers. The training with the theme Prefects Catalyst for Positive Change in Schools, organized by Anambra State Post-Primary School Service Commission, was held at Community Secondary School Oko in Orumba North Local Government Area. Correspondent Theophilus Okoha now reports.
In a keynote address, the chairman of the Post-Primary School Service Commission, Mrs. Ife Okaro, said the training, being one of the Commission's strategy to ensure effective results-oriented management of schools, expects the participants to excel in both character and learning. The chairman tasked school managers and principals to use the school prefects more effectively to check students' vices for positive changes in schools.
The former board put in their best and they did well. And we are promised that we should go extra mile for more effectiveness.
In a welcome address, the Director of Education in Agwata Zone, Mrs. Georgina Obenyalo, said that the leadership training is aimed at equipping the students with leadership capabilities that will provide them the opportunity to support and add their voices in more specific educational purposes, such as improve students' engagement and learning. Earlier, the principal of Community Secondary School Oko, Mr. Austin Oji, who appreciated the efforts of the Post-Primary School Service Commission for initiating the training, applauded the theme of the program, saying that it is very relevant in view of the increased globalization of ideas as the emergence of internet and communication technology have placed most young school leaders ahead of their school administrators. A resource person, Dr. Tobechukwu Nwamaradi, who presented the lead paper on the theme Prefect Catalyst for Positive Changes in Schools, while Dr. Chike Obienyem from Federal College of Education Technical Umunze presented a paper on effective use of punishment, and Dr. Ifama Meto from Community Secondary School Mpologu handled crisis management, and Mr. Cyril Idechukwu from Community Secondary School Aguleze Chukwu all drilled the students on effective leadership potential. In an interview, the Executive Secretary of the Post-Primary School Service Commission, Mrs. Josephine Onora, the coordinator of the training, Mrs. Eukaria Elika, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Secondary Education, Dr. Paul Ifani, and Chairman of Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, Chief Patrick Obaja, all applauded the leadership training. Later, the Senior Prefect of Community Secondary School Oko, Master Onyedeka Okafo, on behalf of others, promised to make good use of the knowledge garnered at the training. Induction and admission of oath on the elected prefects, conducted by Reverend Canon Emmanuel Ono, formed high points of the event.
Be a model as I direct the younger ones, and to control my behavior, that none shall let in from me words or deeds.
Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
Still to come in the news this morning, 15,000 internally displaced persons in the north take refuge in Niger Republic. On the 4-10 large earthquake hits north central Peru. The news returns in a moment. Please join us again.
Someone once referred to me as a common market woman because I'm a petty trader. They don't know that every day I wake up, I have plans for expansion and growth. They can't picture me differently because they believe that even in 5 years, I'll still be in the market doing the same thing.
They wonder about my color.
They judge me by my size.
They assume I am irresponsible because I am a single parent.
And when they hear of my awesome exploits, they can't attribute them to me.
People look at me with pity.
They feel that there's something strange about me.
Opportunity are given to the others, even when I'm qualified.
Sometimes people don't see you for what you're really worth. At Access Bank, we do. We see you not for who you are today, but for who you will be tomorrow.
And welcome back to the news. Moving on to our national stories now. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has disclosed that over 15,000 internally displaced persons, IDPs, from 27 communities affected by banditry attacks from Zamfara and Sokoto states in Gudan, Rumoji, about 5 kilometers away from Maradi in the Republic of Niger. The head of NEMA's operations in Sokoto, Mr. Kofuola Sholaye, who disclosed this in a statement issued in Gusau, said the Nigerian refugees, who were mostly women and children, fled to the neighboring communities on the aftermath of a recent armed bandits invasion. Sholaye noted that the refugees were displaced from their communities in Isa and Sabon Benin local government areas of Sokoto State and Shinkafi and Zumi local government areas in Zamfara due to security challenges. On business news this morning, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has highlighted the need for electricity distribution companies to develop plans to improve their performance and has released guidelines for the preparation of performance improvement plans by DISCOs. The regulator said the process would involve a review of the application of the capital expenditure allowances in the multi-year tariff order model for compliance with performance improvement plans to be prepared by the DISCOs and approved by the Commission. It said the implementation of the plan would be strictly monitored and that the tariff review would prioritize expenditure by the DISCOs and reflect changes in the operational environment that had occurred since the last review. Now, on the foreign scene, a large earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 8.0 struck north central Peru, the U.S. Geological Survey reported. The quake at a moderate depth of 114 kilometers struck southeast of the village of Lagunas and 158 kilometers east-northeast of the larger town of Urumaguas. Earthquakes that are close to the surface generally cause more destruction. Earthquakes are frequent in Peru, which lies on the Pacific's so-called Ring of Fire. And on sports news, the under-20 junior national team, the Flying Eagles, will today in the city of Bielsko-Biała play their second match of Group D in the Poland 2019 FIFA Under-20 World Cup against the United States. Goals by Maxwell Effiam, Henry Ofaya, Ayotomewa Dele Bashiru, and Aliu Salawuddin, and Nigeria a comfortable win over Qatar in Taichi on Friday, and a win over USA, who lost 1-2 to Ukraine same day, would see the Flying Eagles assured of a place in the round of 16. The city of Bielsko-Biała will also host the team's final match of the group phase against Ukraine on Thursday. Nigeria's delegation is staying at the Quibus Hotel in Bielsko-Biała. Kickoff is 7:30 Nigerian time. And that's it in the news this morning. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV online. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. And just before we go this morning, a quick reminder of our top stories. Governor Obiano has urged Nigerians to uphold new national consciousness to promote peaceful and harmonious coexistence. Anambra State government has set a panel to probe collapsed building in Onitsha. 15,000 internally displaced persons in the north take refuge in Niger Republic. Now, the foreign scene we brought to you that a large earthquake has hit north central Peru. And that's the size of our package this morning. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I'm Ebere Ugunna.